This morning's guest is brilliant at what he does, motivating people to be their best. Who is he? You'll meet him coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Myrtle Beach Herald. We're focused on the American Red Cross and its local and mid-Atlantic chapter, and Mel Tillar's company, The Extraordinary Way. And we're visiting with Mel Tillar. Good morning, Mel.
Greg, how are you today?
Thank you so much for coming in.
It is absolutely my pleasure.
I just love to start a Tuesday morning with a guy who's got a voice like that. My God, you're on the money. That's fantastic.
Well, thanks. I do appreciate it.
Are you ever complimented on your voice?
Quite often, and it always kind of surprises me, but quite often I hear that, and it's always nice to hear that. Thank you.
It's amazing the things that folks get complimented on, whether it's their voice or their good-looking jacket or tie, or their smile. You know, Jim Feldman was with us yesterday. We were talking about the Grand Strand Optimist Club. And
good friend of mine, yes.
You know, Jim actually recited the Optimist Creed on air.
Oh,
and I thought he actually had to look down and read it, but he did a good job. You know, it's amazing when you hear those certain aspects of life and the thing that folks are complimented on, and really a smile or a great voice or a great look. I mean, you just never know what it'll be.
Well, that's a lot of what I do. I get people to focus on the extraordinary in others. You see, everybody has something that's special. Nobody came to this planet empty-handed. Everybody was given a special gift, a special talent. And as you know, I used to spend some time, I was in the Marine Corps for over 20 years.
I saw that.
And enjoyed it a great deal and directed Marine bands. One of the things that I realized when I became a band officer was that everybody had hidden talents. And every one of those young people who came through those doors and joined my organization could do something that nobody else in the organization can do, and at a higher level. And I always try to find what I call that hidden talent. What is it that makes you special? And there's always something that makes people special.
Well, you know, when you think about bands, whether it's a school band or a Marine Corps band or any other military-type bands, and really their efforts oftentimes are bringing out the best in others. You know,
yes.
You get the crowd really into the game. You get them really excited about the event they're attending. I saw reading about you, one of the things you all love to do, I think, in Australia, when the Rockettes were performing with you.
Yes.
I mean, your effort is to go above and beyond to really pull the best out of everyone. And so in that instance, you think about it, for as long as, since you were in the military and then getting out of the military, you've been really making that effort to bring out the best in everyone.
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing. You know, music has the ability to inspire. Music moves people's souls. And as a professional speaker now, that is the same kind of thing that I do when I give my keynotes and when I am involved in my seminars and coaching. See, people will pay if you can touch them emotionally. Sometimes individuals say, well, why is it that entertainers, musicians, actresses, why do these people get paid so much? It is because they make us feel. It is because they move us emotionally. People will go to a movie if that movie scares them, if the movie makes them cry, if the movie makes them feel brave and strong and powerful. If the movie moves them, if a concert moves people, they will go see it, and they'll pay a lot of money. They'll pay a lot of money to do that.
Yeah,
it brings great value. People want to feel. They want to live life and have those emotional experiences.
How did you decide that the word extraordinary would be a real central aspect? Were there certain aspects of your upbringing that were, I mean, how did you figure out that a word like that, and of course we need to talk about you, but I think about that key word, a big word that begins with an E and ends with a Y, and it really is extraordinary.
Yeah. I had to go through a process. It didn't just kind of dawn on me one day out of the blue. I went through a process, and there were a number of words and phrases that I used, and then after a while, it dawned on me that what we all want to do in life is to achieve extraordinary results. Mm-hmm. That's That's the main goal. You want to achieve something extraordinary. You want to be able to say, I did this, and I did this at an extremely high level. I did it better than anybody else. I was able to touch somebody. I was able to move somebody. I was able to help somebody. And when you do those kinds of things, those are extraordinary things. And that's what we're all looking for in life. And so I came to understand that if I was able to capture that in words, in music, in song, and capture that emotion, that I would be able to help a lot of people.
All these words that begin with an E. It's amazing. You know, emotion and extraordinary and everyone. It's incredible. Real quick about yourself, Mel. Are you originally from the area?
No, actually, I'm from Virginia.
Oh, really? What part?
Yes. Emporia, Virginia, or a small town outside of Emporia called Skippers, and I'm very proud of that. That
Skippers,
small
yeah.
place.
Now, of course,
Virginia.
a lot of folks have seen Emporia driving up and down 85. They've gone from
95.
95.
Yes, that's right.
Heading up to D.C.
That's right.
You
Yes.
see Emporia on a regular basis.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. You know, a lot of people are on the roads and they think of that. They possibly never stop in that town or head over to Skippers, but
if they haven't been to Skippers, then they've missed something. I'll tell you, the best people in the world live in Skippers.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. And what year was it you went in the Marine Corps? Not to date you, but
Oh, you're trying to do that, but
Yeah.
that's okay. I went in the Marine Corps in 1972.
is that right?
Yes.
And you knew that the military was something you'd thought about for a long time, or you'd been encouraged to head in that way, or it was a parental upbringing that made you think that service?
You know, it was a very interesting thing. Up until that time, I thought I was going to go in a different direction, and I happened to meet some Marines. I liked the way they looked, the uniform. I liked the toughness of the organization. Found out a little bit about the organization. I liked the history. Like what the organization stood for. At that time, felt that that only a few people could make it, and it was an elite force, very, once again, very tough fighting force, and it intrigued me, and so I wanted to be one of the best, and so I decided to join the Marine Corps.
And Quantico is not far from Emporia. I mean, again, another town you pass by on the way to D.C. oftentimes,
That's
Quantico,
true.
where a lot of
Yes.
Marines. A lot of Marines go through there. So were those Marines that were just cruising through Skippers, or those were folks you met?
No, actually, some people came down, and they specifically came, it was a job fair or something of that nature, and I happened to run across, and there were Navy recruiters, there were Army recruiters, Air Force recruiters, but the Marine Corps guys kind of stood out for me.
They do,
Yeah.
and they still do.
They still
and that
do.
elite aspect is still there.
There is a great deal of pride in the Marine Corps, and you have to forgive me for saying, but probably a bit of pride that we don't quite see in some of the other services. They do a great job in boot camp of indoctrinating you into that Marine Corps spirit, adapt and overcome. It's that toughness, that very macho kind of feel, that feeling that you can accomplish and achieve anything that you want to do. And believe me, once you go through boot camp or OCS in the Marine Corps, you do feel like you can do a lot of things.
Do anything. Wow.
Yes.
That's exciting. And did you have brothers and sisters growing up in Skippers?
Yes, I have one brother and I have one sister.
Is that right?
Yes.
Are you the middle, Mel?
No, actually, I'm the oldest.
So there is a middle, though.
No, don't put me in the middle. No, I'm the oldest.
I'm a middle child, so I know. That's right. Well, that's exciting. And you still have family in Virginia?
Yes, I do.
Did any of them come down and visit you here on the Strand?
Absolutely. Yeah. As a matter of fact, my mother, father, my niece, and my sister are going to be coming down to visit me for Thanksgiving. We're going to have a great time.
How exciting. That's
Yeah, we're
right.
looking forward
And you
to
said you've got family here in the area, Mel.
Yes, I have a wife and a daughter. My wife is an OBGYN here in the area, and I have a 4-year-old daughter, and she has daddy wrapped.
Oh.
As she knows that.
Is there such a thing? You mean a little girl could wrap her daddy around her finger?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
She does, too, yeah.
Having a daughter, and of course, being the first child out and being a boy, and obviously growing up and being in the Marine Corps, and what's that like having a daughter? I mean, you're a macho guy. I mean, what's that like having a daughter, Mel?
Greg, let me tell you, okay? I had my son's program all lined up,
Oh, yeah.
okay? I understood exactly what he was going to be doing okay, from the time he was born until the time he left, all right? And then I had programs set up to keep tabs on him, okay? Understood exactly where he was going, okay? That young man was going to be in trouble. I had a daughter, and now I'm in trouble. So.
Those are great words. You know, it's amazing the impact a girl can have.
Absolutely, yes.
And I don't know if Vanessa ever told you that. And, of course, you mentioned your wife, and she's got a column, I think, that I saw recently in Carolina Woman magazine.
Yes,
South Carolina Woman magazine.
Yes, I'm very proud of her. Her practice Women's Wellness Center is doing very, very well. She is writing a number of articles now, doing a lot now in alternative medicine and hormone therapy, really pioneering those areas, and so she's excelling, and over the next year or so, the area and the nation will hear a great deal about her and the work that she's doing.
Wow, that's exciting.
It is very, very exciting. I'm very, very happy for her, and we're both very excited about where she's going.
I hope you'll let us in on that early, Mel, to help promote that either the TV station or the newspaper.
Well, you have to have her on.
The Business Journal. I'd love to get her on if she'd be. Having met her and only met her recently there at a birthday party, it was exciting to see that side of her, or see a side of her that a lot of people may not see. And
that's absolutely true. Yeah, she has a lot of personality.
Here to talk about her practice. And Mel, what brought you to Conway?
Well, actually, we were living in Beaufort. She came up to Myrtle Beach to help out one of the health centers here for a while, and liked the area. Decided that it might be a good place to start a practice. We've been talking about her starting her own practice for a while. With me, it didn't really make any difference. As a professional speaker, I could basically live anywhere. I came up to the beach, enjoyed the decadence of the place.
There's a little bit of that. That's right.
But came up, enjoyed the resort atmosphere here, enjoyed the beach, enjoyed the ease of transportation. In Beaufort, we had to drive about an hour or more to get to the airport, and the closeness of the airport, and the warmth of the people. I mean, and I've enjoyed Myrtle Beach a great deal. I think it's one of my best moves, and now consider Myrtle Beach to be my home.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. Mel, I want to get into how you became a professional speaker, but for viewers who need to get off to work or head off to get family to school or otherwise, is there a way someone could, if they're going to miss the rest of the interview, is there a way someone can get in touch with you?
Absolutely. You can get me on the internet at meltillar.com. That's MELTILLAR, meltillar.com, or give me a call at 843-234-2022.
843-234-2022. Okay, well, obviously a lot of folks want to have an opportunity to catch the rest of the interview, but if they got to head out, how did you become, those two words next to each other, professional speaker? I mean, it seems like, how do you become a professional speaker?
It's an interesting kind of thing. I was in Beaufort, and a very good friend of mine asked me to do a leadership seminar for her. She knew that I'd spent some time in the Marine Corps, and asked me to do this leadership seminar for her. So I said, okay. So I did the seminar. She was extremely impressed, and she said, wow, you and I should do some things together. Now, she had been a former corporate trainer.
Oh, really?
Yes, and she was, at that time, she was the Dean of Continuing Education at the Technical College of the Low Country. And as it happened, I wound up working at the Technical College, and I was the liaison between the college and the corporate industries there. And I'd go out and find out what their corporate needs were, come back and design courses for them. Well, one day she comes in, and she lays on the table this magazine, and she says, read that. And I say, okay. And so I start reading this thing, and I see that Colin Powell makes $75,000.
Oh, come on.
For one speech.
Oh, come on.
Bill Cosby, 110 for one speech. Okay. Phil Jackson and Pat Riley, they were making around the $45,000, $50,000. Les Brown was getting 20, 25. Maya Angelou was getting about the same thing. And then they said that if you were very good, but not necessarily a household name, not famous, that you could make in the area of 5,000 and perhaps up. I looked at her and I said, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
She looked at me and she said, you can do that. I looked at the paper, I looked at her, I looked at the paper, I looked at her, and I said, yeah, I can.
Oh, wow, Mel.
And so that was the start of my professional speaking career, and it was very interesting because after I got out of the Marine Corps, I was looking for that next career. I had done some things, but knew that I had not found that thing. Now, I've been speaking publicly since I was 4 years old. My mother is a great, great, great speaker. Okay, and she taught me how to speak when I was 4, how to deliver poetry and all of those kinds of things.
Right, I read that.
And so it was simply a talent that I took for granted. It was just something that I could do. Now, I knew that I could become a minister, but I had a few habits that precluded that. So I said, well, I guess this is just something that I can do. And periodically I would go out and do some things for people, make some speeches or whatever, some talks and those kinds of things, but had not thought of doing that as a career. And as soon as she told me that, it was like bells and lights and whistles and all of those kinds of things went off, and I said, that's it. That's what I am. I'm a professional speaker.
Wow.
Yeah, and I as soon as she said it, I knew that was my next career.
Well, how did you know you were going to live? I mean, what prompted you to actually leave the Marines? You know, knowing it was such a special thing, and obviously traveling all around the world, having seen you'd perform in front of President Reagan and the King of Tonga, and I mean, just so many amazing locations. As I said earlier in the interview with the Rockettes there in Australia.
Yes.
Brought the house down there.
Oh, had a wonderful time. Traveled literally all over the world. Some magnificent experiences and so forth. But, you know, the Marine Corps is a young man's game. And the Marine Corps, you know, you have the ability to retire at around that 20-year mark.
Right.
And it's a dilemma. Do you stay longer? You know, you can stay until 30 years or so. Do you stay that long, and at that point, you're almost so old that you're out of the market? It's very difficult at that point to start a new career.
Right.
Or do you get out right at that 20-year point and start your new career? So I decided to retire at that point and go out and do some other things.
Yeah.
And, you know, tackle some other mountains, climb some other mountains, and it's been interesting. I've loved it, and so I'm going to be I am very, very fortunate because now I've had that magnificent first career, and now I'm having this tremendous second career.
Yeah,
so,
you got to feel good.
So I'm
Mel,
very, very pleased.
you're floating, and of course, so seeing you got out of the Marines, I think I saw in August '94. So.
Yes.
10 years ago this past August.
Yes.
And then it was a very short time after meeting up with your friend who was the dean of continuing education, or that aspect there, to have pretty quickly gotten into this second profession.
Yes.
Which is so difficult, I'm sure, for folks who've been in a structured environment, whether it's the Marines, the Army, or the Air Force, for 20 years, to get into anything. It's probably very difficult for them to get into an area, particularly going out on their own like you've done,
yes,
without that daily structure surrounding you, to actually go out and, I guess, on your own, have your own structure, and to provide now your own structure.
It's very interesting, and this is a challenge that many people face. If you have been good at anything, you typically see this with athletes. They are very good young, in their early in their lives. They played ball all of their lives, and all of a sudden they have to retire. Now, what do I do? How do I get out of how do I leave the limelight? And let me tell you, if you have played at the McKinley Memorial for 30,000 people, if you have performed at the Honolulu Stadium for the Pro Bowl, and you've opened up the NBA Hall of Fame, those kinds of things, it takes a lot of thinking. What am I going to do next?
They could top that. Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, you know, you're retiring, you are in your late 30s, early 40s, and you feel that you are in your prime, and most people are in their prime at that time, at least mentally. And all of a sudden, you have to change careers.
Right.
So it is a challenge, and I do feel very fortunate that I was able to find such a wonderful second career that fulfills me and makes me feel good.
Mel, let's get into that. Let's break that down. We're in our prime now. We got about 5 minutes left. Time has flown very quickly
Yes,
this
it has.
morning. But let's get into that aspect. Why would someone call you to come see them? Do you meet with folks individually? Do you meet in groups? You talked about keynote addresses. How does someone, A, find out about you? Why would someone want to turn to you as a professional speaker? I mean, obviously not the 110,000 a speech.
Yes.
Like,
But that's not bad.
no, that's right. I think we're not going to spit that off, no doubt.
People call me when they want to develop themselves personally, or they want to develop their staff or the people around them. My focus is on achieving extraordinary results. There is a law of cause and effect. There are no coincidences in life. There is no accident. People who are extraordinarily successful because they do certain things, they act in a certain way, they talk in a certain way, they think in a certain way. And I teach people extraordinary thought, how to think extraordinary thoughts. I teach them how to speak extraordinary words and how to take extraordinary action. And the fourth thing that this is built on is extraordinary partnerships. I teach them how to make extraordinary partnerships, and I give them the tools that are necessary to achieve those extraordinary results. And I am having a great deal of fun doing that. We are helping a lot of people. We help people from corporate individuals to housewives, and we're having a lot of success with it these days.
Oh, yeah, and you say we, but I mean, this is really you're doing a heck of a lot of this. Unless there's special projects, you'll bring other folks in within your company.
So special projects, I bring people in, but obviously for the keynotes, I'm the one who does that. For the seminars, unless it's a 2 or 3 day thing,
right,
then I go out and I do the seminars, and I have developed this concept that I call how to achieve extraordinary results the extraordinary way. So that is my expertise, and that's why people bring me in.
Well, I think I saw a litany of folks on your website that have talk about you and what you've been able to do to help them 2.5 times their income, their growth. Or I had a plan to raise $10 million, or to add $10 million to my net worth, and Mel helped set the stage for me to lay out that plan to get there. Not that he's there yet, but that you set the stage for that. And do you get feedback on a regular basis from folks saying what you've been able to do to help them accomplish their goals?
Absolutely. Those are the typical kind of results that we get. Right now I'm working with a gentleman who is a manager at Booz Allen Hamilton, which is the 4th largest consulting firm in the world. And this organization is located in Washington, D.C. He called me up. He just picked up this group of 13 people, and in less than 4 months, his group, he was able to grow that group from 13 to 31.
Wow.
And able to triple the amount of money that group was earning. And we get those kinds of results quite often.
How exciting, Mel. The other great thing, visiting your website, meltillar.com. You see on there you've got your bio, obviously a piece about the extraordinary ways, some performance enhancements, testimonials.
Yes.
And that's a great opportunity to go there for folks to learn more about you. But, of course, giving you a call is important. Some of the news and appearances. Since September, you'd had a litany of locations, some of the locations up to September, some of the recent engagements, places you've been. Looked like all over the world, but I mean, particularly all over the U.S. It was incredible to see.
Yes, we've been on the West Coast as far as Seattle, and we've been down to Florida. We do a lot of work in the D.C. area. Wherever the plane stops, I'll get off.
Right. Yes. Good for you. Those are good words. There was also a great piece on there, the Mel Minute, and oftentimes you just have a minute to get across something, to get someone interested in what you're doing or how you help people.
Yes, that is a project that we are extremely excited about. We're going to be featuring the Mel Minute on radio stations throughout the country. Right now, the first station that's playing that is a station out in Syracuse, New York. And so I want people to stay listening, stay tuned to the radio stations. They're going to be hearing a lot about that all across the country.
It was great to see there's also an opportunity opportunity to watch a video presentation of you, as well as to order books and CDs, tapes, other stuff you've got. We've got less than a minute now. Mel, if there's a point, I'm sorry, there's so many questions I wanted to ask you about inspirations and early on things. If you weren't a professional speaker, what do you think you'd be doing?
I would still be in the music business or acting. I enjoy being on stage. I enjoy being in front of people. I enjoy moving people. I enjoy helping people. So if I were not a professional speaker, then I would be acting or involved in music some way, either producing or singing.
Those are great words, and I'm sorry we couldn't get more of this. It makes me think I need to get you back.
That sounds like a win. I'd love to come back.
Fantastic. Mel, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you. I had a great time.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Mel Tillar coming up next. Do you want to produce better results? Think about that. Our goal this morning was to talk about the American Red Cross. We didn't do that. That's my fault. We got to step out. Obviously, we did have the opportunity to hear Mel talk about extraordinary things, and surely the extraordinary way. Take the time to visit his website, meltillar.com. That's MELTILLAR.com. Take the time. Also, if you don't have access to the internet, go to 843-234-2022. 843-234-2022. Give him a call. He wants to talk to you about the Red Cross. There's a lot going on with the Red Cross. He's just joined the Mid-Atlantic affiliate of the Red Cross and some of their service aspects. There's a heck of a lot going on. They need your help. And you can learn a lot how to help yourself by giving Mel a call. Take the time.